Hey everyone, today I'm showing you how to use Claude AI with WindSurf, a popular IDE, to automatically create N8N workflows. This combination is incredibly powerful. You just describe what you want in plain language, and the AI creates complete workflows for you. Let me explain how it works and what benefits this can provide for us. I've tested this extensively. By putting Claude and WindSurf together, you can create practically any template you want in a snap. The workflows are about 80% complete right out of the box, which saves you tons of development time compared to building from scratch. Today, I will also share with you the exact prompt template I use to make Claude an expert N8N workflow builder. I will show you how to set up Claude and use WindSurf for maximum efficiency. Also, by using these tips, it will ensure you that you are getting the best results from Claude. And as a bonus, you'll get access to my GitHub repository, and I will share with you a repository with over 200 free N8N workflow templates that you can use right now or customize for your needs. They are linked in the description below. No email or anything required. Whether you're new to N8N or an experienced user looking to speed up your workflow creation, this method will dramatically cut down your development time. Okay, let's get started. So what is WindSurf? WindSurf is a modern AI-powered IDE developed by Codium and built on top of Visual Studio Code enhanced with AI capabilities. WindSurf is also an AI assistant that can generate complex code, including N8N workflows. But before we dive in, let's quickly understand what MCP or Model Context Protocol is. The Model Context Protocol is an open standard developed by Anthropic that creates secure two-way connections between AI models and external tools or data sources. Let's take a look at some key aspects of MCP. MCP allows AI assistants like Claude to interact with external systems, like your file system or IDE or code editor. It provides a standardized way for tools to communicate with AI models. It enables Claude to perform actions outside its chat interface, such as writing files directly to your computer. But why do we need Model Context Protocol for N8N workflows? Because connecting Claude to WindSurf via MCP offers several important advantages. Claude can write N8N workflow JSON files directly to your WindSurf project folder without having to do any copy and pasting. Also, you can simply describe what you want, and Claude will generate and save the workflow files where WindSurf can immediately access them in your local computer folder. This solves the problem of rate limits that can cut off workflows that are too long. We've all experienced Claude cutting off a response halfway through generating a complex workflow. MCP solves this by saving directly to files, and it lets us use any tool that uses an MCP server, such as Puppeteer, GitHub, and or the popular tools. There are so many MCP servers available now that extend what Claude can do. By using WindSurf for this integration, we address many common problems and open up powerful new possibilities through MCP servers. This approach equalizes the usage between Claude and WindSurf, creating a truly powerful combination. While you're using WindSurf for coding, it can create memories from recent interactions with your IDE and also push your files to GitHub, which you can then import into Claude seamlessly. Everything can be done with just a few clicks. Connecting to MCP via Claude has its benefits. They are very substantial for serious workflow development. Since we're focusing on WindSurf today, we won't need to set up the MCP integration with Claude Desktop. Let me demonstrate how powerful Claude is. Trained on our provided knowledge, Claude is creating our first workflow. In this example, I am sending Claude a prompt asking for a specific workflow. Claude is asking clarifying questions to understand exactly what we need. This thoroughness ensures the workflow will match our requirements precisely. I also provide any additional details in my follow-up prompts that Claude may need or ask for. Claude will even help you set up your workflow step by step. Now you can see here Claude is generating the complete JSON structure for our workflow. As you can see, it's thinking to start creating all the necessary nodes, connections, and parameters. It uses the knowledge from our project files we trained Claude on. This will be the workflow templates, debugging docs, or whatever you added. This way, Claude knows what we want, which will cause less margin for error. Claude is generating us a comprehensive workflow structure that's ready to import into N8N. As we watch Claude create the JSON for us, we can see the JSON being created for us. Claude Creates includes all the necessary components for a functional workflow. We're back over here in Claude. The first thing we're going to do is set up and train Claude before you install or worry about WindSurf. Depending on your skill level or project's needs, you may already have WindSurf installed, but either way, let's continue. This setup will prepare Claude with all the knowledge it needs about N8N workflows. After you have Claude open in your browser, click on New Project button. When you click on New Project, you'll be able to enter the details for that new project. Make sure to be as specific as possible when entering your project details. This helps Claude understand exactly what you need it to do with N8N workflows. After updating or creating your project details, be sure to save them. Next, we need to provide Claude with specific and relevant instructions and information that we want Claude to use for chats within our project. Click on Set Project Instructions. This powerful feature is what transforms Claude into a specialized tool. What you're seeing now is where we set our prompt to make Claude our expert N8N workflow builder. This is where you need to be as specific as possible when instructing Claude. Below this, you can see the knowledge cards on the side of the screen. This is Claude's knowledge base for this project, and these resources can be easily managed. This allows you to add PDFs, documents, text, and Google Drive files to the project knowledge base. That's how we are training Claude. Now I'm pasting in my prompt for Claude to become my expert N8N workflow builder. You can use whatever approach you like to create this prompt. I already had my prompt created, which will be available in my GitHub repo for you to use if needed. It contains all the instructions Claude needs to generate excellent N8N workflows. After pasting in my prompt, I want to make sure everything looks correct before asking any questions to Claude. You can see everything is easy to navigate, and you can also see the project description that we created and saved earlier. The whole interface is designed to be straightforward. By doing this, we're essentially training Claude on the data we provide and setting up guidelines for it to follow. This specialized knowledge is what makes Claude so effective at creating N8N workflows. You could use this same approach for any specialization you need. Next, I'm going to show you how to link your repositories. You can access them directly from your GitHub repo and import them into Claude's knowledge base. This connection allows Claude to seamlessly reference your files when generating workflows. Sometimes the connection might not work immediately, so you may need to refresh the page. I've had this happen before, so I just had to refresh the page. Now you can see the files have been imported from my GitHub repository, including various templates and resources. Notice how everything is organized within Claude's knowledge base, making it easy for Claude to access when you request a workflow. Now I'll show you WindSurf and its powerful capabilities. I want to demonstrate how you can create complete workflows without even needing to use files from the sidebar or manually organizing your project structure or needing to know how to code. This is where WindSurf truly shines. You can generate these workflows directly using Claude, and it will handle creating all the necessary folders, file structures, and even upload everything to GitHub automatically for you, based solely on the prompts and specifications you provide. What makes this particularly valuable is how it streamlines the entire development process. You don't need to manually create separate files, organize them, or handle version control. WindSurf manages all of this through its integration with Claude and GitHub via MCP servers. By leveraging GitHub with your MCP servers, you can accomplish complex workflow creation tasks efficiently and with minimal manual intervention. Let me walk you through the MCP server's configuration to show you just how intuitive the settings are. The interface is thoughtfully designed to be straightforward and easy to navigate, even if you're new to these tools. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how to open the settings panel and access the MCP server section. We're going to add a specific MCP server for GitHub integration, which will enable seamless communication between WindSurf, Claude, and your GitHub repositories. This connection forms the backbone of our automated workflow creation system, so it has to be configured correctly. Before we can fully configure this integration, we need to get an access token from GitHub. This personal access token will authenticate WindSurf to interact with your GitHub repositories, allowing it to push files, create repositories, and manage your workflow code automatically. Let's navigate to GitHub and click on Settings. You'll find this in the drop-down menu under your profile icon, corner of your GitHub page. Once in Settings, we'll scroll all the way down to the Developer Settings section located at the very bottom of the left sidebar. After clicking on Developer Settings, we'll see several options. We want to select Personal Access Tokens and then click on Generate New Token. This will take us to the token creation page where we can specify exactly what permissions we want to grant to WindSurf. For a workflow generation system, we'll need repository access at minimum, but you might also want to add workflow permissions if you're planning to use GitHub Actions. When selecting scopes for your token, I recommend choosing Repo for full control of private repositories, which gives WindSurf the ability to read from and write to your repositories. I did not show my screen while creating this token since I'll be using it later for other purposes and don't want to expose my credentials publicly. Security is important when working with access tokens. They function essentially as passwords, so you should never share them or display them publicly. After generating the token, GitHub will show it to you exactly once. Make sure to copy it immediately because GitHub won't display it again for security reasons. If you lose the token, you'll need to create a new one. This is an important security measure, but it means you should be ready to immediately use the token or store it securely when you generate it. With my token now created and safely copied, I'm going to return to WindSurf to show you exactly where you'll enter your own token in the configuration panel. The MCP server settings have a dedicated field for GitHub authentication tokens, which is encrypted to protect your credentials. It's really simple to configure. I've added my token to WindSurf. This is where you'll enter your token. Now my server is created and I'm linked to GitHub. WindSurf can now communicate with my GitHub files and the MCP server is connected. You can see the hammer icon with a green dot indicating a successful connection. Now I can simply enter a prompt and WindSurf will create everything based on my specifications. When I enter this prompt and click Create, Claude will generate all the necessary files. I'm using Claude 3.7 here, though you can use any model you want. Right now, I'm going to head back over to the official N8N website after finishing up in WindSurf. Let's look at the workflow template that we use for demonstrating WindSurf's capabilities. I will grab a screenshot of it. Please bear with me as I am new to recording these videos. This template is for pulling data from services that N8N doesn't have a pre-built integration for. This workflow demonstrates three powerful examples: retrieving and processing JSON data, scraping content from Wikipedia, and handling paginated API responses from GitHub. It's like having a universal adapter that ensures you're never limited by what nodes are available. This is perfect for us to try out in our demo while testing out WindSurf's capabilities. Now with the screenshot saved, I'll head back to WindSurf so we can see how it handles converting this visual template into actual working code. Now I just need to find that screenshot in my files. These will be the folder where you saved your screenshot. 2, let me import it into WindSurf's chat interface so we can get started. Now I can import it directly into the WindSurf chat interface. With the screenshot imported, I can now type in a prompt asking WindSurf to create a complete JSON for an N8N workflow based on this image. The amazing thing about WindSurf is that it can analyze this screenshot and automatically generate all the necessary code and configuration. WindSurf doesn't just create the JSON file, it writes all the required directories and files and can even push everything directly to GitHub if needed. Right now, you can see it's actively creating all those directories and writing the files in real time. As you can see on my screen, WindSurf is setting up the entire project structure. It's utilizing MPC servers for this process, which allows it to efficiently handle the complex task of translating a visual workflow into functional code. The system is still running through the process as you watch it builds out each component of the workflow. This is all happening automatically based on that single screenshot, and prompting to create this workflow is all we provided. As WindSurf continues generating the necessary files and configurations, it's working through the process, carefully analyzing and constructing each element of our N8N workflow. You can see it's still generating content, working through all the requirements to create a fully functional workflow that we'll be able to import directly into N8N. The entire creation process happens rather quickly, transforming a simple screenshot into a complete working workflow solution. Okay, as you look at my screen, you can see that WindSurf is busy processing our request to create an N8N workflow just from a screenshot image. This whole generation process sometimes takes a bit of time because WindSurf is analyzing the screenshot and putting together all the necessary components. While we wait, you can watch WindSurf working through each step. It's not just whipping up a simple file, it's constructing a full workflow structure complete with all the connections and logic that N8N needs. The system is generating the JSON file, getting the GitHub repository details ready, and arranging everything in the right directory layout. What's going on right now is pretty amazing. WindSurf is basically reading our screenshot and converting the visual workflow into functional code. You can see it's still in the processing stage, carefully going through each node and connection to make sure everything is set up correctly. WindSurf is also getting all the file structure and everything else ready for the GitHub repository, which it will push automatically. It's seamlessly building everything. All right, let's see what WindSurf has prepared for us on GitHub. As you can see on my screen, everything has been properly set up and pushed to GitHub specifically for the prompt displayed in our image. It has provided all the essential files and information needed for the setup, which includes comprehensive installation instructions. Everything is well organized, and all we had to do was click a few times, allowing WindSurf to take care of the rest. It even generated all the necessary JSON files for us, which you can see here for this particular workflow. Here you can see the actual JSON code that WindSurf generated for our workflow. Notice how comprehensive and well structured it is. All the nodes are properly defined with their parameters, connections are clearly established, and the workflow logic flows seamlessly from one step to the next. You'll see the JSON file listed here in the repository. To download it, simply click on the file name to open the file view, then click the Download Raw File button or right-click on the Raw button and select Save Link As to save it directly to your computer. Let me quickly show you the original template I took the screenshot from on the N8N website. Here you can see what the original workflow looked like. This gives us a perfect comparison point to see how accurately WindSurf recreated it. Now going back to my N8N instance, I'll create a new workflow and import the JSON file we downloaded from GitHub. I'll click on the menu, select Import from File, then choose the JSON file from the repository. Voila! The workflow has been imported successfully. Compare this to what we just saw on the N8N website. The similarity is remarkable. WindSurf accurately recreated the workflow structure based solely on the screenshot. So there you have it. The complete setup is pushed to GitHub with comprehensive documentation. If you want to get started with WindSurf, just follow the installation instructions and download it from their website. They offer both free and paid plans. I personally use the paid version, but the free version works perfectly well. If you'd like a tutorial on installing WindSurf, just leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.